Okay, in my previous class, I discussed about dynamic method dispatch as a runtime polymorphism and abstract classes. Those are very, very important. And at any stage, if you have any problem, you may please speak to me regarding that. The next very important topic is one more important topic in the second unit is final keyword. So final usually will have three notations. You may add this keyword, final keyword, before a variable or before a method or before a class. So whenever we add this keyword, final keyword before a variable, how variable will behave. If you add this keyword before a method, how the method will behave. Even if you add the same final keyword before a class name, how the class will behave. These are the things we need to discuss today. So very, very important. The question may come directly. Write about final or final keyword or sometimes final variable or sometimes final method or sometimes final classes, or indirectly they may ask the questions, what will happen if you add a final keyword before a method, or one more question is how to prevent method overridden. Can you explain how to prevent method overridden? Or one more question, how to prevent inheritance? So all these of questions come along with this particular topic. Is my voice clear to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please focus here. It's a very, very important one and it's a very simple topic. See here, the final is a keyword defined inside a Java to restrict the user, which is meant to restrict certain things. So whenever you add, so it is usually will have a three notations. You may add before a variable, before a method, before a class. So whenever you add the keyword final, it is in a lowercase, don't forget, before a variable name, that variable behaves or becomes a constant variable. So whenever I add final before a variable name, that variable acts as a constant variable. If you try to alter the value of that particular variable, final variable, the system will give you an error message. Think that whenever you add the keyword final before a method, that method simply prevent method overridden concept. It simply stops method overridden. Method overridden in the sense the parent and child will have the same method. So in that situation, the parent method is going to be override with the child method, and the child method will be active, will be called whenever you invoke that particular method instead of parent method. So whenever you add the keyword before a class name, so what happen others say that particular class will prevent or will never involved in inheritance. Already we come across what is an inheritance. Inheritance in the sense reusing the properties, acquiring the properties of parent to child. So whenever you add a keyword before a class name, that class never involved in inheritance. Means the inheritance is prevented in that particular hierarchy. We will see one by one. So first one is whenever you add a keyword before a variable, that variable is the value of that particular variable is final, and it prevents the contents to be modified. Whenever you want to alter the value of that particular variable, the system will give you a warning message. That means that particular variable behaves as a final variable. Its value is final, fixed, right? And we're having not only just final keyword, but also we can have a static and final both altogether. So a field that is both static and final has only one piece of storage, cannot be changed. So whenever I use the static variables, again we'll discuss static. Static will have a static variable, static block, static methods, and so on. At the time again we'll discuss what is a static. So whenever you declare any variable as a static, that variable is going to be declared only once, and that value is final, right? The keyword final can also be supplied to methods and classes. We'll discuss these two things one after one. A final variable that is not initialized, think that if you are not initialized, at the time of declaration known as blank final variable. We can't give another value to that blank final variable. We can't modify the value. So we can initialize constructors at the time using we can initialize using constructors. A static final variable that is not initialized at the time of declaration is known as static blank final variable. Static అనేది ఒక కీవర్డ్ గుర్తుపెట్టుకున్నామా, whenever you add a static before any, that will become global declaration, and we can access only uh, just like a sharing of different methods or different classes of that particular variable. Only one copy is going to be declared for that particular static. We will discuss static later. So some of the examples here, final int. So usually whenever you are representing any variable is of a constant, so at the time better use uppercase. It is not a compulsory one. Whenever you are writing any variable name as upper, means we understood that it is a constant variable. Please be clear, in constant values are the things which are fixed, like 1 2 3 4 5, and variables are the things which are having a different constant, different things, and usually the variable value will varies based on the situation. But constant variables are the things which are fixed. Means file underscore new equal to 1, means this variable is having 1. At any stage if you alter the value of 1, the system will give you a warning message, like that, and so on. So usually it is better practice to represent final constant variables in uppercase, right? So variable name may be in uppercase or lowercase, depends, but try to mention the constant variables in uppercase. And coming here, a simple program here in a class A, I define static final int. Here I define a integer variable. Data is of type integer, but not only it's a just integer, it is a final variable, and also it's a static, means it is going to be declared as a global and shareable. Data value is going to be shareable, and it is the final data, means the data which is assigned, its value is final. So I can assign the value inside a static. So static అనే వేరియబుల్ రాసినామంటే కంపల్సరీ స్టాటిక్ బ్లాక్లోనే మనం డేటాని మోడిఫై చేయాలి. I can use a value. It is a static blank final variable. We can add a value inside a static. If it is not a static, we can add a value using constructors. Constructors are meant for to initialize variables usually, right? I'll see a simple example for this. Am I clear to you all? వినపడుతుందా నా వాయిస్?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please be clear in this. A very simple application, and it's a very important. Here I define a simple program. Import java.io.star public class. The class name is driver, class name is final example, and inside I define a main method, static public static void main. Inside I define a variable. Say for example I just remove this final. I just make it as int x equal to 10. I want to print the value on the screen by means of println. I can do this. Here I just add a value here. Not only the value of x is 10, I would like to modify the value of x to 10. Means the value is going to be varied to 20. I just show it on the screen by means of println statement. Save the application and try to compile the code and run the code. The program is final ex avac final ex.java. Compile the code and run the code. Now initial value is 10. I just printed the value of x. Initially x value is 10. Later the value is updated with 10 again. Plus equal to means x value is incremented by 10 more times. X equal to x plus 10, like that. Now the value becomes 20. It is a simple program. Just I took a simple data, integer data type variable x, and incremented 10 its value and show it on the screen. Say for example, if I add a keyword final before int, I want to make this x as a final variable. Now save the application and run again. Compile the code. The system will give you an error message. Cannot assign a value to final variable x. X plus equal to 10. So whenever you are altering the value of x, because x is not an ordinary variable, it is a final variable. Whenever you supposed to alter the value of x, that x means the variable is violating the final rules and regulations. So what happens, the system will give you an error message, cannot assign a value to final variable x. We can't modify, we can't update, we can't do anything. The value is fixed. Yes or no? So whenever you do like modifications, x plus plus or x plus equal to or anything, the system will give you an error message. Ma clear, Amma?
Yes, sir.
Ma remaining students, please respond. Are you there or not? Okay, we will discuss later the class details. First, I will finish my whatever I want. So this is about a simple variable, final variable, and the next topic is one more example is added in this particular PPT. You please go through this later. If you declare any parameter as final, you cannot change the value. That's the thing. Can we declare a constructor as a final? So whenever you add a keyword before a constructor, so we should not do that. Why? Because the constructors never inherited. You are not supposed to ignore to inherit from one class to another class, but usually the constructors never come to the child class. So whenever you add a final before, it is not necessary, because no need to go for writing a final before a constructor, because constructors never inherited to its children. Methods will come, variables will come, and everything will come, but constructors are meant for that particular class only. These are never given to its children. The one more example here, you please go through later this. Whenever you add or update, the system will give you a warning error. Right? It shows some error message. Check it later. The next is the final method. So if you make any method as final, that method cannot override. That method cannot be hidden with the child methods. So whenever you want to stop overriding, we use or you make the method as final method. See here, I take one more example for this. Here are different two classes. One class with the name of bike. So bike usually only one method. Say for example run, and just show information running like this. And I define one more class with the name of Honda and extends to bike. The bike is a super class or a base class, and the class Honda is a child class. So I would like to get all the properties of bike to Honda. So here how we are going to be extend the properties by using the keyword extends. Now bike will be a part of Honda. So whatever there here, that thing will be come over here. Now run is already there in these two classes, but it is coming or it is inheriting its properties to its children Honda class. So what happened here? The run is going to be override. Now this method is going to be invoked whenever you just create one instance for the Honda class and run for this. That run of Honda class is going to be run instead of bike run method. See here, I created a main method inside final method. I created one instance with the name of h, and I call the method h dot run. So what happened here? It come over here and it executes. It is a normal simple program. See here, I'll show the output of this. The method is final method, JAVAC, final method dot JAVA. Compile the code. So once it is done, next run the code. So running safely with 100 kilometer per hour. So whatever the statement there inside, the child class will be appear on the screen. But here it is going to be override. Already you can call it as a runtime polymorphism. The same program or same method which is available inside the child class, this method is going to be override with the child class. Now whenever you invoke, automatically this is going to be executed. If you want to run this method again, you can use super followed by run. That's already we discussed it. But I don't want to, what you can say, I don't want to give a chance to override. I want to restrict that one, so I can make this one as final. అమ్మ కనబడుతుందా ఇక్కడ? I just added a keyword final. Okay,
Yes,
Namma.
sir.
So whenever I add a keyword final before a method, means what? I don't want to go for overridden. Means I would like to restrict this method to override with any method which is there in the children classes, right? So save the program and come to the command prompt and compile again. The system will give you a warning message. Please notice this. The system will give you an error message stating that run in Honda cannot override run in bike. అమ్మ కనబడుతుందా స్టేట్మెంట్ ఇక్కడ? Run off, run in Honda, whatever the child class cannot override run in bike. Means that overridden method is final. Whatever the method which is coming for child to override, that method is final method. మా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, ఇట్స్ a simple program. Whenever you reproduce the same on your answer script, they'll give you 10 out of 10 marks, full marks for this. It's a very simple scenario. We need to remember a keyword before a method name. Means whenever you add a method keyword before a method name, that method never go for overridden, even if you go for extending one class to another class. But clear? This is final methods. The method is final. That method is definitely we need to use that method. We should not override. We should not override the method which is there in the parent class. Any doubt in this? Any doubt?
No, sir.
కనబడుతుందా స్క్రీన్ ఇందాకే?
No,
ఆర్ యూ
sir.
ఏబుల్ టు సీ మై స్క్రీన్?
Yes, sir. Kandisum.
అని ఎవరు పలకడం లేదమ్మా?
Yes, sir.
So this is all about the final method. So whenever you want to restrict to override, you cannot override. So at the time you can use the final method. Is final method inherited? Yes. Final method is inherited but never go for overridden. Final method is inherited but cannot override. Please remember, these may be asked in interviews, like interview panels like TCS or some other face to face. Whenever you are in that situation, they may ask, write about what is the final, can we inherit final methods or not, like that. So it is a very big confusion in that particular situation. But final methods are just like an ordinary method. They may come to the child class, but we cannot override as same as the same. If you are having the same methods, it never go for overridden. But if we are having two different methods, definitely it comes to the children. Any doubt in this? వీటిని ప్రాక్టికల్గా చూడడం, ఇట్స్ అ వెరీ 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 ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్స్. నెక్స్ట్ ఈజ్ అ ఫైనల్ క్లాస్. We can add a keyword final before a class name. So what happen if you add before a class name? I'll take the same example here, right? So I remove this. Now it becomes a normal program. Here we are having a bike class and here we are having a Honda class. The Honda is extending the bike and the same method which is going to be override here, and I can get the child class information on the screen. I removed here final keyword. But say for example, if I mention final here, the class before the class name, I mention final keyword. Means what? This particular class becomes the final class. The final, usually the final class never involved in inheritance. Means this extends keyword give you an error. Means the extending property from bike to Honda is not possible. Why? Because the class is final. It is what you can say, it is not yet involved in, not supposed to involved in inheritance. See, compile the code, the same program. So error, cannot inherit from final bike class Honda extends bike. Please note Please notice the error here. మాకు కనబడుతుందా ఎర్రర్ ఇక్కడ? Please zoom it and see. Cannot inherit from final bike class Honda extends bike. సో ఎక్స్టెండ్స్ అనే కీవర్డ్ అనేది బైక్ అనేది ఇక్కడికి ఎక్స్టెండ్ కానివ్వదు. ఎందుకు? దట్ క్లాస్ ఈజ్ ఫైనల్. వాట్ ఎవర్ ద స్టేట్మెంట్ దేర్ ఇన్సైడ్ ద ఫైనల్ క్లాస్, దట్ ఈజ్ ఫిక్స్డ్, దట్ ఈజ్ ఫైనల్. ఇట్ నెవర్ ఇన్వాల్వ్డ్ ఇన్ ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్. క్లియర్ అమ్మా?
Yes, sir.
If you make any class as final, you cannot extend it. ఇది ఒకటి గుర్తుపట్టుకున్నాము. ఇవే ప్రోగ్రామ్స్, ఇవే క్వశ్చన్లు అడిగేది చూడండి ఎగ్జామ్. How can you prevent extending one class to another class? How can you prevent inheritance? What happens if you add a final keyword before a class name? All are relevant to this particular topic. The very simple thing. If you add a final keyword before a variable, that variable becomes a constant variable. We can't alter the value. If you try to alter the value of a variable, the system will give you an error message. The second thing, if you add final keyword before a method, that method becomes a final method and never go for overridden. Next, if you add a final keyword before a class name, that class becomes the final class and never involved in inheritance. The extending is prevented. Any doubt in this? So next is string class. It's a simple definition. I think everybody knows what is a string, how you are going to be define a string. String here, it is not a just like a data type, either defined or predefined like that. It is a class here. So usually class will have objects and class will have some methods, built-in methods. The first thing, strings are actually an object of type string. These are the objects of type string. Here S is a capital letter, string is a class name. Even string constants are actually string objects. So whenever you are representing a constant, string constants usually represented within double quotes. Whenever you are writing anything within double quotes, that becomes the string constant. Those are the string objects. So here I am going to be print a value on the screen which are enclosed within double quotes, right? Objects of type strings are immutable. These are not altered. So once a string object is created, its contents cannot be altered, right? If you need to change a string, you can always create a new one that contains the modification. So whatever there you are assigning, that is a fixed. We can't have that facility to alter the things or to increase the size or decrease the size of a string, right? If you want to do such things, we go for string buffers. ఈ బఫర్స్ గురించి మళ్ళీ చదువుకుందాం అమ్మ. String buffer is another class which is meant for to work with strings in the form of buffers, right? We will discuss later about string buffer is a separate class. And place C is meant for to concatenate two strings. Concatenation in the sense adding or merging two strings, one string after another string. If you want to add, use plus symbol. To test two strings whether they are equal or not. If you want to know whether two strings equal or not, we use equals method. Think that we need to find the given string is a palindrome or not. So we need to accept two strings and two strings whether those two are equal or not. Say for example, our palindrome reverse a string and verify both palindrome or not. So in that situation, we need to identify the two strings equal or not. Equal in the sense, whatever the first character there in the first string and the first character of the second string should be the same. The length should be the same, number of characters should be the same, and so on. That things will be measured or compared by means of equals method. And one more is, if you want to know the length of a string, how much number of characters there in a string, that should be written by the method length method. And sometimes we need to take certain character at a particular position, so we can have char at method. the char add will give you the particular character at that particular position. So we need to pass the position, what position of that particular appropriate character is going to be written from that particular char add method. And many more methods there in that inside string class. We'll discuss later whenever situation comes. See a simple program here. So I define a driver class here with the name of string demo and define a main method. Inside main method, I define three objects of string class. String 1 or str object 1, str object 2, str object 3. The first string is first string. The second object of string is the second string. And the third object, just I assign first object to the third object. So in first object and third object should be the same value. Yes or no? So you are creating one object with the name of, so object 1 and object 2 and object 3, say for example, right? And object 1 and object 2 both are the same, both having the same information, right? Because you are assigning whatever there inside object 1 to object 3. Next is I am just printing the value on the screen by using first one is the length of the string by using length method. So string object 1 dot length, it returns the number of characters there inside the first string, and the second println statement is going to be print a particular character at particular position. So in that particular index 3, the third character of that particular string is going to be print by means of char add method. It's a very simple things, and in any situation if you want to extract a particular character of a particular position, we use char add method. Char add, a capital letter, char add method, and accept an integer value or an index value. That particular position is going to be retrieved by means of this char add method. Say for example in the second println, if I pass 3, the first character, first string, first 1, 2, 3. The third character is here. 0, 1, 2. The third character is yes. Yes is going to be written here. Please remember. So based on the situation, based on the index value, you are retrieving a character from the string, given string. And whenever you want to compare two strings, whether these two strings equal or not. So with the first object followed by equals method, and pass the second parameter as second object or the third object based on. So I am comparing first object equals to the second object, whether it is equal or not, or else not equal, like showing on the screen. So first string and second string both are not equal, so I can get this message. Instead of this, I am get this message. If I compare the next condition by passing third object as a parameter to the first object equals method. So here I am comparing first object with the third object. So first object is first string and the first object is assigned to the third object. Both will have the same statement, that is first string. So in that situation, both are equal, having number of characters same, number of length of the string should be the same, and everything will be the same. So in this situation, it returns this statement, string ob1 equal to string ob3, right? Because these two strings are equal, so this is a valid statement. It never enter into the else part. This is the outputs which will be shown on the screen. Please remember here, the string is not a ordinary data type here in Java. String is a class which will have certain predefined methods like length, char, equals, and many more things will be there, right? And whenever I use a plus symbol, plus is meant for to add two strings, concatenation of two strings, right? In any situation, I want to extract a particular character from the string, I can use char add, and many more methods there in that we will discuss later. Try to execute this simple program, and even we can compare two strings by using equals method. Object name dot equals, and it accepts one parameter. We need to pass the parameter as object name. Okay, Naman? ఎవరు పలకడం లేదు చూడండి. ఆల్ ఆర్
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
so next topic is, how many of you know command line arguments? Can anyone explain now? You may please unmute and you may explain, or you may take the class and explaining command line arguments to your friends. How many of you know this? If you know, please respond as this. If you are doesn't know this, say no. ఎస్ నో తప్ప వేరే ఆన్సర్ వద్దు. నాకు తెలిసే తెలుసు అని చెప్పండి, తెలియకుంటే తెలియదని చెప్పండి, అంతేగాని సైలెంట్గా ఉండొద్దండి. ప్లీజ్ స్పీక్.
Yes, sir.
తెలుసా? హౌ మెనీ ఆఫ్ యూ నో ఎస్?
Yes,
Send a
sir.
message through chat box at least. But there is no option as a silent. Yeah, Vaishnavi, very good. Divanedri, very good. Okay, nothing will happen. I'll explain again and try to be clear in this particular topic. Sometimes not only in what you call the university examinations, even campus drives also, they may ask very specifically, write a program, even though it's a very simple program, finding a factorial of a number using command line arguments. At the end, they added a tagline stating that command line arguments. Print a Fibonacci series by using command line arguments. Find biggest of two numbers using command line arguments, like that. So what exactly the command line arguments, and how we are going to be use this? I'll show you a simple program along with this. Please focus here. The command line argument, the detailed meaning of here it is the command in the sense you are giving orders to the system to execute certain things. Those are called commands. Say for example, I want to run a program. JAVAC is a command to compile the code. JAVA is a command to run the Java program. So those are the commands. Line in the sense where you are entering the commands. So where you are entering the command, that line you can call as a command line. Arguments. Arguments in the sense list of things to supply. So whenever I want to supply certain things to my program, those are called arguments. Usually arguments are formal arguments, actual arguments. Actual arguments are the arguments which you are passing. Formal arguments are the arguments which we are receiving. Right? So arguments are the list of things to supply to the program. So ఎక్కడి నుంచి సప్లై చేస్తున్నాం మనం? You are supplying these arguments, these things at command line. సో కమాండ్ లైన్ నుంచి మనం ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ని పాస్ చేస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి వీటిని కమాండ్ లైన్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ అంటాం. సో వెరీ వెరీ సింపుల్ అండ్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. Nothing will, whatever the program, but at the end they mention using command line arguments. Now the question will be very tough. Nothing will happen. It's a very simple. Only thing, if you are good at this particular topic. So in C also, whenever you want to accept command line arguments, we need to pass. We need to have two parameters as main function. First one is integer int argc, comma next character followed by pointer array. In Java, though you are receiving arguments or not, but you are mentioning string followed by args. Yes or no? So args is nothing but array of strings. So usually the command line arguments passing values to the main function. That main function accept all the things in the form of strings, array of strings. Right? So ఇవన్నీ ఒకసారి చూద్దాం. Usually whatever the name you want to pass, usually by default I am passing args. It is not necessary to mention args. You pass any name, variable name as arguments. And args of 0, the first element of arguments of 0 is the first element or first string. Args of 1 is the second string, and so on. How many strings you are supplying to the main function, that much arrays are going to indexes are going to be defined. And all command line arguments are passed as strings. All are in the form of strings. So say for example, if you want to write a program to find a biggest, to find a factorial, to find Fibonacci. So in that situation, if you are working with integers or if you are working with doubles or floats, we need to take the strings and convert into appropriate integer or double or float formats, right? But whatever you enter a number, say for example 100, the 100 will be accepted as string only. Need to convert into appropriate integer form. We will see. It's a simple program. So command line arguments. I just a simple program here with the name of command line and define a main method, public static void main. Usually the main will accept array of strings in the form of args, open and close square brackets. It is of type string. Here S is a capital letter. Don't write as a small, S is a capital Y, because string is a class. It is not an ordinary data type, it is a class. How many parameters it is going to be accepted based on the parameters what you are passing at command line argument. Through arguments. The command line, whatever the things you are passing, everything are going to be received in the form of array of strings and assigned in the form of args. Args is an array of strings. The first condition, whether user supplied strings or not, supplied arguments or not, that things done by means of a simple statement array dot length. So length is a what you can say statement which will return number of arguments in the string or in the array. So if you want to know array length, number of array elements, that should be done by means of length statement. So array name dot length will give you the size of array. Please remember. So whenever the args dot length is greater than 0 or not, if it is greater than 0 means definitely the user supplied certain parameters, then go for execute this particular block of if condition, true block. Think that if it is false, say for example 0 or less than 0, say for example, so there is no argument supplied to this. So at that situation, it come over here else part and print no command line arguments supplied, right? Please remember, ఇది equal to 0 పడుకోండి, ఎందుకంటే 0 also a valid statement, always starts with 0 onwards, array elements. So other than 0 ఉందంటే, I mean నెగిటివ్ వాల్యూ కానీ ఏదైనా ఉందంటే థింక్ దట్ లెంత్ లేదంటే మీనింగ్ ఏమి ఎలిమెంట్స్ పాస్ చేయలేదండి. అట్ ద టైమ్ విల్ గెట్ ఎ కంబైన్ లైన్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ నాట్ ఫౌండ్ అది. ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ దేర్ మోర్ దాన్ 0 ఉందనుకోండి, అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ఎలిమెంట్ దేర్ ఇన్ దట్ జస్ట్ ప్రింట్ ఆన్ ద స్క్రీన్ బై మీన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎ సింపుల్ స్టేట్మెంట్ by using args dot length. Args dot length will give you the number of arguments supplied to the main method. So main method ki manam enni arguments supply చేసినామో దాని యొక్క length will be measured by means of args, which is represented as a array name dot length will returns number of or the size of array. As usual, I started a simple program for I equal to 0, I less than the array size, I plus plus, every time I am printing args of 0, args of 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. How many elements there on that particular number of iterations are going to be takes place by means of this simple for loop. If you are good at writing for each loop, you mention instead of writing 0 and so on, right? I'll just compile the code and run the code. Followed by command line dot java. This is the class name. Compile the code and run the code. Say for example, as usual, if I run this particular program without any arguments, so java is a command line is a class name. If I didn't mention any commands, any arguments, just I press enter, say for example, the system will return number of command line arguments are 0, right? Nothing more in this. Remove this equal sign, right? At least 1 అన్న ఉండాలి కదా, 0 ఉందంటే it comes over here. Again compile the code and run the code any parameters, I'll get number of command line arguments found. There is no argument supplied to this particular statement or particular command. Say for example, if I supplied certain parameters, say for example, Ravindra College of Engineering Women. So these are the things which I supplied. So the system will understood that these are the arguments which are separated with a blank space or passed to the main method. So these are going to be listened by ARGS array and will be shown one by one on the screen. It shows like this. Number of arguments are 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first one is going to be represented as args of 0, Ravindra, args of 1, College of Engineering for Women, and so on. Okay, Nama, is it clear? It's a very simple program. Only thing is we are passing parameters through command line. Where you are executing the command, that line you can call as a command line. From that command line, you are passing parameters to the main method. Main is accepting the method arguments from the command line only. Those things are going to be written or showed or executed based on whatever the calculation. The first argument is going to be represented as args of 0. The second is represented as the args of 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, and so on. Okay, Namma, any doubt in this? Think that the length is equal to 0 or more than 0, then you can say that it is the user entered certain values. If it is less than 0, you can say that it is, the user entered no arguments. Any doubt in this? Am I clear?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll just added the same program in PPT even. You just take this and try to execute. But why don't copy the content as it is and run. Sometimes the system will give you a warning message or sometimes error message which are there at the end. Even some invisible characters will be added whenever you add into your PPT. So try to remove all those and save and compile again. And one more simple program, how to find a factorial of a number using command line arguments. So here all are the strings, so nothing will be there, just added all the information and show printed by means of a simple println statements. But my question is, say for example, I want to pass a number as argument to the main method through command line and try to find the factorial of that particular number. So here you are passing an integer value, but main is accepting, though it is integer, but main is accepting in the form of a string. I need to convert that string number into integer number and go for doing my own calculation. I'll show you a simple program and be clear in this. This is a usually asking question, whatever, but at the end they may add a simple statement through command line arguments. See here, the command line factorial, the driver class name, the main method. Here, as usual, I define one number, one fact, and args length. అవసరమైతే రాసుకున్నామా లేకుంటే తీసేసేయండి. So how can I get this arguments length? I can get by means of args dot length. Args dot length will give you number of arguments there in that. If it is 1 అయితేనే మనం యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయాలి, నాట్ మోర్ దాన్ 1 అయితే అవసరం లేదు మనకి, రైట్? If it is 1, I can go for finding the factorial number equal to, it is a very important statement, please remember how you are going to be convert that particular number which is entered through command line argument into integer form. So I can convert that one by means of integer dot parseInt. వీటిని కూడా మళ్ళీ చెప్పుకుంటానమ్మా. Integer, here it is a class, it is of type wrapper classes, so which is meant to convert a string into integer form. ఇదే మీరు సిలో రాసినప్పుడు ఎలా రాసింటారు? A2i అనే ఫంక్షన్ రాసింటారు, గుర్తుందా మర్చిపోయినారా? A2i అని రాసింటారు, ASCII to integer అని. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? సి ప్రోగ్రామ్ రాసేటప్పుడు స్ట్రింగ్ వాల్యూని ఇంటీజర్లో కన్వర్ట్ చేయడానికి we used A to I method. Here we need to pass the string which is there as the first parameter. ఇక్కడ మనకి ఏముంటుంది 100 అనేది స్ట్రింగ్లో ఉంటుంది, డబుల్ కోట్స్లో ఉంటుంది, స్ట్రింగ్లో ఉంటుంది. దాన్ని ఇంటీజర్లో కన్వర్ట్ చేయడానికి యూ కెన్ హ్యావ్ ఎ మెథడ్ parseInt. ParseInt is a method which will convert string into integer form that will be defined inside integer class. Int is a data type. Integer I capital letter is a integer class. Integer class is a wrapper class. There we can have certain methods. Those methods are meant for different purposes. Here I would like to convert a string value, whatever supplied by means of args, that will be converted into integer form. This method will be defined inside integer wrapper class, WRAPPER wrapper class. That value is assigned to a number which is ordinary variable, ordinary integer data type. Now I can get a value integer number. That number I can go for finding the factorial based on the simple loop, and I can print it on the screen. I think how to find a factorial of a number. Think that if the number supplied as a command line argument is more than 1, I don't want to go for finding different values. I want to restrict to only one argument. So at the time I can show a simple message, more than one number is entered, it is not valid one. So go for again entering only one. Think that the length of the args length is 0. So at the time no arguments entered. One more else which is stating that no arguments entered through command line. Okay namma, ఇవన్నీ జస్ట్ ఇఫ్ ఎల్స్ కండిషన్స్. వీటినే కన్స్ట్రైంట్స్ అంటారు, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. ద కన్స్ట్రైంట్స్ ఆర్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. యువర్ సీనియర్స్ యూజువల్లీ సేయింగ్ దట్ మై ప్రోగ్రామ్ passed only 3 test cases, 5 test cases and so on. Why the program is just passing only few test cases instead of all? The only thing is they didn't mention test cases or constraints properly. If you mention constraints properly, the program will be evaluated or passed in all test cases. My friends, మీ సీనియర్స్ చెప్తుంటారు, నాకు 3 టెస్ట్ కేసులు పాస్ అయ్యింది సార్, అన్ని పాస్ కాలేదని చెప్తుంటారు. The program, though it is correct, but it is valid for only few inputs, not for all the inputs. If it is for all the inputs, means the programmer took all the constraints in a proper way. So here the constraints are, for this particular program I need only one value. If it is one value, I can find the factorial. If it is more than one value, I can say some message on the screen. If it is nothing, I can say some error message. These are the constraints added by means of if else statements. Okay namma, I'll run the code. The driver class, here it is command line fact. Clear the screen content, compile the code, JAVAC command line fact JAVA. Compile the code. Now run the code. Think that in the first command line arguments ki nenu ఏ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ లేకుండా రన్ చేసిన అనుకోండి, I'll get no arguments entered as the error message. Say for example I entered for example 5,8. Say for example more than one argument passes, say I'll get more than one number is entered, right? This is also invalid statement. Think that if I entered only one argument, I'll get the factorial value on the screen 120. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? So like this, try to mention all the test cases, all the constraints in order to get an accurate value. Okay namma, here the thing is everybody knows how to find the factorial, but here we are accepting the value through command line arguments, not by means of scanner classes or buffer reader classes. Any doubt so far? We covered what is the final keyword added before a variable, added before a method, or added before a class. Next is string class. String is a class, not an ordinary data type, with a simple program. And the last topic is command line arguments. What is the command line argument? Topic and how we are going to be arguments through command line to the main function. So these are the things which we discussed today. Please unmute and speak if you have any doubts regarding this. Please unmute and speak if you have any doubts so far.